I'm pretty sure we're live. There we go.
There we're live. Takes a second. Hi, everybody. Cindy and Josh here. So, over the past few weeks, at various times, I've said stuff about goals and like my book reading goals. And I said how we sat down and started going over our goals. I was referring to money related goals, but we actually have goals in several different areas
Yes.
of our life. And the other day, a friend reached out to me and asked me how we goal set as a couple. Like, what does that look like? Do we go by any form or anything like that? And I was like, well, no. And I explained it to her, and I figured it would be helpful for you guys too to see what that means to us.
Yeah. So we sat down the last couple of days and went over our goals for 2021. Everybody had, I'm sure, a great year this last year in 2020, and really the only way we're going to make sure that next year's going to be better is just to plan on it being better. And so that means planning out our year a lot better, financially, spiritually, health-wise, all of those things. And I'm not talking about the cliche of New Year's
I'm never going to eat sugar ever again. Or cameras glitzing out here. Sorry. Glitzing? I meant glitching. Whatever.
Still pretty bad. There we go.
Boom. Sorry, you guys. We're practicing doing this. So, yeah, thank you for sticking around and tolerating us with our audio technical
challenges.
Okay, anyway. So, yes, I want to tell them like what program we switched to using.
What do you mean?
Tell them about the Trello board.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So we've been looking for something. We've used various programs over the years for mainly grocery lists.
Mm-hmm.
And trying for her to be able to input a grocery list and for me to pull it up and go in the store and do it. And so this year we've instituted Trello. And I was familiar with Trello because of a previous job. It was a pretty key component that we used for tracking material coming in and out of a material handling yard. And she brought it up to use it, and I thought, oh, that's great. I already know how to use it. And so we dove into Trello, and we've set up a whole bunch of different boards and cards and stuff to cover all the different goals that we have this year. And so that includes lists for finances, lists for projects, lists for personal goals, family goals, and so forth.
To-do lists, lots of different stuff. So we sat down, and these are the categories that I asked him what his goals were, and then I shared what my goals were. And they are career, personal development. We didn't go over that, actually. But anyway, financial, spiritual, family, social, and health. And I added in marriage. I think you could probably do family, but I made it separate. And so I already knew what a lot of these were for me. So we sat down and I asked him, what is your, goal for this? What is your goal for that? And at that point, it was a discussion. So unless you have something to add,
we started just going over all of the things.
So we picked one of these subjects to actually recreate for you guys so you could see how it went. I think that's probably the best way to kind of show what it means to us to do and how we handle it. So it was
one of the ones we mentioned, which is spiritual.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't know how many people even take time to consider setting spiritual goals. We should know, based on what the Bible tells us, we should always be growing and maturing as God's children, growing in the Word, growing in our Christian conduct, growing in our compassion towards people, our charity, all of those things. And one of the ways you're going to grow is you're going to set yourself some goals. You're going to set yourself up to be very
purposeful. That's how
very
I feel.
Purposeful, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what we did for this upcoming year. She first shared with me what she wanted to do.
Yeah. So let's just reenact it.
Okay.
No?
Sure.
We're going to reenact it for you. That's what I was thinking. I think that's the best way to go about it.
Okay.
So I pull it up. I'm like, okay, so now we're going to talk about our God-driven goals, spiritual goals. I know last year that I had made the goal of doing 12 different weekends or days to volunteer my time.
Yes.
So I had, done Habitat for Humanity, and I tried Youth for Christ, and I was like, I don't know if I want to recreate that goal this year. I'm really struggling with where that's going to fit in, if that's on my heart right now, or if I just want to complete it because I didn't complete it last year.
Well,
So
COVID made a big impact on that. A lot of charities shut down to where we couldn't volunteer.
that's true. So now I have to pray about it. So I wrote it down because it's still kind of on my heart, but I'm not sure I'm going to follow through with that goal yet. So what about you? What are some of your spiritual goals?
Well, I want to be able to spend more time in the Word and more time doing devotions. And so trying to look at my day and trying to figure out, okay, when's going to be the best time to do that. And besides some of the time that I have after work, which is limited, it's really hard for me to do it before work because I already get up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work. So I thought, okay, lunchtime. And so that already started getting the wheels turning about, okay, I have 30 minutes.
Well, you're not very good at recreating it, are you?
No.
Okay.
This was a couple hours ago, so I've already forgotten.
So we'll just tell people what we did because it's not going back and forth. Like our actual conversation, there was a ton of back and forth.
Yeah.
And you were like, well, I want to spend more time studying. And I was like, when are you going to do that? And then you said,
Let's see.
And you said,
wheels turning,
yes.
Smoke coming out,
So there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of questions being asked so that we can understand what the other one wants to do. So you said, well, I was thinking about lunchtime.
Yes.
And then we went down this rabbit trail of how to make that happen.
Yes. And that involved, some of the side things of how do I make my lunchtime more efficient. And that means being better prepared for lunches every day, to where I'm not running to the fast food to go get lunch.
Panda Express.
It's close by. Nothing special.
Right.
Anyway, utilizing my time more and then
Yes.
having a devotional ready to follow. Maybe use one of the studies on the Bible app or something like that.
Right. And that was one of the things that I had told him was like, well, my big plan is to wake up early in the morning. And part of what I do in the morning is read my Bible. And I have a plan that's based in a book, Pray for Your Kids Through the Bible. And over the course of a year, you read the whole Bible. And that got your wheels turning about getting a devotional or something, or maybe using the app. So there is quite a bit of back and forth because you might come up with some huge goal, but I have to think realistically of like how that can be managed or maintained. And so that was one of the things we figured out was in order for you to study every day at lunch, you have to have lunch ready.
Yes.
So if you're not going to have leftovers, what are you going to have that morning?
Sandwiches.
If you don't want a sandwich, you can have like frozen chimichangas or something. And so we actually wrote down a few things that he wanted to have for lunches ready, and hopefully it has solved the problem of how to start implementing this goal.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so, that's a big part of spiritual goals is being able to incorporate that into your daily life. I know this last year when we were doing remote church attendance because of COVID, one of the things our pastor was trying to encourage people is to be more purposeful, spend more time in the Word, get up every morning, do whatever you need to do. And so that means taking the time to look at your entire schedule and say, I need to put some time in there for the Lord. And I remember years ago someone...
Sorry. It's our life. This is our life.
Yeah, normally we're holed away or they're somewhere else. But anyway, the idea was if you're too busy for God, you're too busy. So be purposeful and set something up.
Yeah. So to sum up, when you sit down, there are some great topics for goal setting. Once again, career, personal development, financial, spiritual, family, social, health, marriage. You don't have to use any of them. You don't have to use all of them, and you can use your own. But having some topics to discuss, especially financial, especially spiritual, like keep those on there because you need to be on the same page about money and God.
Yeah.
And then talk to each other. Like, what do you want to do this year? And just start implementing these things. When we went over to our financial goals, I had wanted to save a certain amount of money. He wanted a emergency fund. That was the first thing he brought up. I'm like, awesome. So because we're investing and because we're trying to save, where does this fit in? How much do we pull each paycheck? And both of our goals ended up aligning together because we chatted about it and we talked about where the money was coming from and how often and whatnot. So sharing your individual goals and then working on them together will make them both of your goals.
Yep. Good family goals, and we'll succeed as a family. So
yeah,
here we come, 2021.
We're here, and it's okay that it's January 2nd and you haven't made any goals. There is no time like the present. Do it now. Do it in a month if you're listening to this in a month in February. It doesn't matter. Just sit down. Just talk about your future and your goals, what you're excited about, what your passions are with your spouse. It's important.
Very much.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. Hopefully that was helpful. Sorry about the mess and sorry about the screaming kids. This is just how it is in the Maxwell family.